Good afternoon, everyone. This is Van Miller in Orchard Park, New York, and the road to the Super Bowl goes through Rich Stadium.
Holy mackerel, they did it again!
Fasten your seatbelts. It's playoff time.
Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown, Buffalo!
Where else would you rather be?
Allen back to throw. Going to run it, keep it himself to the 40. Jumps over a man.
Touchdown!
It is bedlam. It is pandemonium. It is pandemonium. It is fantastic.
Yes, safe to say the stadium has changed a lot of lives, and that is why we are here 52 years later talking about this incredible building. What is going on, everyone? I am Matt Beauvais, a Western New York native, a former Buffalo Bills season ticket holder, shout out Section 316, and the sports director over at Channel 7 in Buffalo. Like many of you, some of my favorite Buffalo sports memories happened right inside this building, and that is why over the course of the next several weeks we are going to share some incredible stories. We'll probably cry a little bit, and we're going to send this place off for the final year inside this stadium before the Buffalo Bills move across the street. If you're a Western New Yorker or a Bills fan, I don't need to tell you about the rich history at Rich Stadium. But let's give you the SparkNotes version anyway. There are 30 stadiums in the National Football League, and this one, the home of the Buffalo Bills, is the fourth oldest. But by the start of the 2026 season, Buffalo will have the newest stadium, a $2 billion state-of-the-art facility going up on the other side of Abbott Road.
Listen, I'm excited about the new stadium. Sure. I really am, and it's been earned, right?
That's the head coach of the Bills, Sean McDermott, talking about his team's new home. But after 8 years in Buffalo, he knows, just like any lifelong Western New Yorker, this is a bittersweet moment in franchise history.
The emotional ties that this fan base has to this team and that stadium, I hope we can take the tradition, right, from this stadium into that stadium. Because sometimes when you build something new, it's like you get it too nice and it's like you lose the past. We can't afford to lose the past.
Yeah, that will not happen in a place like Buffalo, where the love for the Bills only comes second to a love for nostalgia. Losing the past really is not an option. America thinks they know this stadium for cold weather games and jumping through tables, and hey, that all happens. But Bills fans, players, coaches, and staff will tell you it is so much more than that.
It was always tough. You had to be tough. Bills Mafia, they're as tough as you can get.
I think everybody on the team thought we had an advantage. This is truly the 12th man.
The Bills were it. This was the main attraction.
They've embraced, this is our place, and I think when the team is good, it's an incredible place to play.
There is not a bad seat to watch the game.
This stadium, it's not about the brick and mortar, it's about the fans and the staff and the people.
This place was home sweet home to us. We didn't lose here.
Everybody is right on top of you and next to each other, enjoying every moment of it.
Truly feels like a second home.
That's been my whole life almost, is being here. This is my family.
This is a special place because of the community of it.
It's brought so much into my life.
There's no other place that I want to go play. I don't want to finish my career somewhere else.
And we lived and breathed and died. Everybody lived and breathed and died with the Bills.
And to be able to do this and to be a part of this, it's insane. Like, there's so much history here. There's so much love. These people here in Buffalo have made me who I am.
I am talking with the people who grew up inside of this stadium. They watched the Bills go to 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s, and then there was the 17-year playoff drought. All of that happened right here. And now, after 52 years, there's just one season left. And how else do you start to say goodbye than with the beginning?
Oh boy, was this one wonderful.
That's Marv Levy, talking about Buffalo Stadium.
I can't recall one game that it was so unbelievable because it happened all the time.
And Jim Kelly, too. Both of their legacies synonymous with Bills football. They arrived in Buffalo the same year, 1986. Marv Levy was the head coach of the Bills through the 1997 season. He won 123 games between the regular and postseason, 76 of them here in the team's home stadium, known as Rich Stadium, back when he was in charge.
I had a 47-year-long coaching career, so I'd coached in many stadiums around the country, and this was a great one.
Jim Kelly would quarterback the Bills offense for 11 seasons. He took this team to the playoffs in 8 of them.
I made my life at that stadium. It's the only team I ever played for with the Buffalo Bills.
Marv and Jim both got to the stadium 13 years after it opened, and there's plenty more stories to come from each of them in future episodes. But we felt it meaningful to start this whole story with the 2 of them, the winningest head coach and quarterback in Buffalo Bills history.
Very fond memories of the stadium, loaded with fond memories, and I forget the frozen toes I had and all that stuff.
The memories will live on forever in that stadium. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
They led the Bills through some of their most iconic games inside of this stadium and to the closest this franchise has come to winning it all. 4 straight Super Bowl appearances, you know about all of them between 1990 and 1993. That remains an NFL record. As if going back 4 decades wasn't enough with the Jim Kelly and Marv Levy era, we should go back a few more years to the Buffalo Bills' first stadium, known as the Rock Pile. So it was called the Rock Pile, but its official name was War Memorial Stadium, built in the 1930s on Buffalo's east side. It's where Bills founder, Ralph Wilson, landed with his team in 1959 after an unsuccessful attempt to add a professional football organization in Miami. The stadium held 46,000 fans.
I wish I'd asked him, okay, that first game at the Rock Pile, what were you thinking?
I spoke with Mary Wilson, Ralph's widow, about those early years. In the 1970s, Ralph's team was outgrowing the small and poorly maintained Rock Pile. In 1972, construction began on a new stadium, south of Buffalo in Orchard Park, with Ralph's vision to build a modern, massive facility. It would nearly double the capacity of the Rock Pile, with room for 80,000 fans.
And then I have a photo of him when the stadium in 1973, you know, when the stadium opened, says a lot. It says how proud he is of Western New York, of the Buffalo Bills. I mean, you could see how proud he was to have brought this here, and it's flourished and continued flourishing.
When this stadium first opened, Buffalo-based food company Rich Products bought the naming rights to the stadium for 25 years. When that agreement expired in 1998, the stadium would be renamed for Mary's husband to honor the man who built it 25 years prior. It would bear his name, Ralph Wilson, until 2016. Joe DeLamielleure, a Hall of Fame offensive lineman for the Buffalo Bills, was part of the team's first rookie class to play in the newly constructed Rich Stadium. The team took him in the first round of the 1973 draft with the 26th pick, and safe to say, he was excited about an upgraded venue.
Compared to the Rock Pile, which was called, that when we got drafted, dang, I might have to play in that place. That wasn't much better than a high school field.
Once he got to Buffalo for the preseason, he got the good news that he would avoid the Rock Pile.
They said, you're a lucky guy because we're opening the most beautiful stadium in the nation. And it was, Rich Stadium. Thank God for this stadium, man. This is going to change my life. That's what I thought.
Quarterback Joe Ferguson was also a part of that first rookie class to call Rich Stadium home.
When I walked into the Bills Stadium, I went, holy mackerel, this is big time. That's my main thought was, this is a big time stadium right here.
He had a 17-season career in the NFL, spending his first 12 in Buffalo, the most of any quarterback in Bills history.
To this day, I'm thinking, golly, it's been 50. When you said 53 years, I said, dang, I'm getting older by the minute here. It's just a great thrill. I mean, it was just a new stadium, new facility, clean. Everything was clean. The fans were happy about it, which was muchly needed at that time. I've had such fond memories of playing with the Bills for that long and for 12 years. And I enjoyed it. I actually did enjoy it. And when I look back on it nowadays, I'm glad I stayed there and participated with the Bills for that long.
Rich Stadium hosted its first Bills game August 17th, 1973, a preseason game against the then Washington Redskins. Joe DeLamielleure and Joe Ferguson actually carpooled to the stadium that day, leaving hours ahead of time, anticipating bad traffic for the franchise's debut in Orchard Park. The traffic was bad, but only in the most Western New York way, because the Erie County Fair was also running that August day.
When the game started, half the crowd, I'd say 1/3 of the crowd wasn't in. It wasn't a full seat because of the traffic outside, because the Erie County Fair was at the same time. So I'm thinking, man, this is a little bush league, isn't it?
So Rich Stadium, in its first ever game, was half full for the opening kickoff. But maybe that was for the best.
But our first kickoff we ever kicked off in that stadium, Herb Melke, I can still remember his name, from Washington Redskins, returned it for a touchdown. Crowd hadn't even sit down. Everybody's outside. We're already down 7-0.
It almost feels like that set the tone, right? Of like heartbreak over the years.
Yeah, it has. And to think that it's been over 50 years and they haven't won a Super Bowl. I never even got to a Super Bowl. But you think even a blind squirrel finds a nut, right?
My history at that stadium, Matt, dates to the very day it opened.
Sale Majorana was there that day too, as a fan in the stands.
The very first game in the stadium, preseason opener against the Washington Redskins, and my dad and I and my uncle and cousin were in the stands, upper deck, I think on the press box side, as I recall. And of course, everyone knows the story about how the place opened its doors. It was probably an omen of things to come. Herb Melke of the Redskins returned the opening kickoff 102 yards for a touchdown. So there we go. Rich Stadium was underway, and it was not a good start for the Bills. But yeah, so I was actually there for the very first game.
Deb was too. These days, she works for the team in the ticket office and is one of the longest tenured Bills employees. It's almost a family tradition at this point. Her mom was a ticket office employee before she was.
My parents were allowed to come in when the stadium was being built, so we have pictures of it being built.
But before her paychecks were signed by the Bills, she was paying for a ticket in the stands.
And I can remember walking down Southwestern Boulevard to the first game in '73 and walking into the stadium and seeing it with fans. And we got the commemorative coin and a little note thing saying that you were here as a first fan. And just watching Mr. Wilson, how proud he was, it was just amazing.
You heard Joe DeLamielleure say this new stadium was a major upgrade from the rock pile. As a player, Sal says back in 1973, it was a major upgrade for the fans too.
I was at the rock pile, and then going over to the new stadium, obviously, oh my God, you walk in that place the first night, Matt, 80,000 people. I mean, the rock pile held 46, I think, and rarely was it full in those early 70s when they were leaving that dump. So the new stadium was just an incredible thing. The new scoreboard, if I recall, Matt, the new scoreboard cost $1 million. Now, $1 million in 1973, think about what the new scoreboards cost today to put in these stadiums. So, yeah, but even that scoreboard, you could hardly even see the replays. It was so terrible. But there was replays in a stadium. It was like we just couldn't believe what we were living through in Buffalo.
So you'll notice a very common theme throughout the course of this series. A lot of the people who work for the Buffalo Bills and a lot of the people who cover the team from up in the press box, like myself, were Bills fans first. The same is true for Andy Major. He has been the VP of Operations and Guest Experiences for the Bills since 2008. He grew up in Rochester in the 80s.
Loving the Buffalo Bills and watching Fergie on TV and Joe Cribbs and all these guys that played back in the day. And then, hey, I got tickets to the game. I go, what? You know, the Bills, we're going to the Bills game. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, I'll come in. Let's go.
Andy's talking about the first game he ever went to as a kid at Rich Stadium.
My first memory of being a Bills fan was my dad and my mom taking me and my two brothers and sisters to a game. And it was like in the late 80s, mid to late 80s. I think we were playing the Cleveland Browns. It was a terrible weather day. When we drove to the stadium, we parked on the south side. Currently, it's lot 1. I don't even know the name of the lot back then. And that's where we set up camp. We had the chili in the back seat, and we're tailgating. And I'm looking at this side of the stadium, and my eyes were just, you know, this is heaven. It looks so huge to me. But here's the other thing. The minute I walked in the stadium, it was bigger. I had no idea it was, built into the ground, and I know those details as a kid. But I thought it was this gigantic stadium when I saw it physically just in the parking lot. But walking into the stadium was another surprise.
For Andy, for thousands of Bills fans, and even for me, this stadium isn't just our connection to the team. It's our connection to the people who taught us about how to love Buffalo football. Andy says his person was his dad.
My all-time memory is absolutely walking in the stadium with my dad. He meant a lot to me. He was, we shared so much together. The one thing we could always talk about and love was football and the Buffalo Bills.
I think everybody on the team thought we had an advantage. This is truly the 12th man with the crowd. They were unbelievable.
Is there a way to explain what the energy was like in those early years of the stadium?
No, Buffalo is unique because I played in Cleveland with 80,000 people. Buffalo is, those people are there early and they're out there partying. Half of them are liquored up, but they are the best fans in the world.
In 2003, Joe DeLamielleure was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He credits the accomplishment to the Buffalo Bill he spent 7 seasons blocking for.
What'd you do? Oh, you helped O.J. Simpson break 2 records. Then I went to Cleveland. We helped Brian. Brian Sipe was MVP of the league. So they started foolishly thinking that's me. I was just along for the ride.
Well, I think that you were paving the way. I think that's what I would say. You were paving the way.
And Joe says playing in Buffalo for the first 7 years of this stadium was almost priceless.
I would have played for free. I told him that. I would have. If you gave me a Buffalo Bills hat and a T-shirt and meals on the plane and get there, I would have played for free. I mean that. I almost did.
Since 1990, Sal Majorana has watched all Bills home games from the press box, yet he still remembers the fan experience.
I've loved that place for a long, long time. Even when I was a fan, I thought it was a great place to see a game. It really was. You were intimate. You're close to the field, especially if you're in that first level. The sight lines are great. I think they were always great. So I really think that stadium has held up incredibly well.
But now there's a new stadium, quite literally on the horizon.
I'm more excited for the Bills fans than the players and former players. Now that when you back away from it, it's all about, Buffalo's all about, I know we have Jim Kelly and they got Josh now, and they had Jack Kemp, but Buffalo's about Buffalo. They're unique.
I think it's going to be very emotional for a lot of people. There's people there, Matt, that probably have had season tickets for 53 years. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a few. You don't leave a place with that much history that has been such a big part of your life for so long without being emotional about it.
Ralph just loved it.
That's Mary Wilson again. She didn't meet her husband until the late 80s, well into Rich Stadium's tenure here in Orchard Park. She told me she wishes she had gotten to see Ralph and his team through the rock pile in the early years here at Rich Stadium.
I wish I had lived through the 24 years that it took him to get there.
But what he built lives on for Bills fans.
I meet people all the time who just tell me their stories. Their season ticket holder, the first season ticket holder, we still have a few that are still with us. Ralph would be thrilled with the direction.
Do you plan on coming back for the final season?
Totally, I will be there. And as I mentioned, I don't know, I've got to take something, a piece of the field, or I don't know. I don't know that I want a seat, but I could probably use it in my garage. I have to figure out what to do in my Buffalo Bills garage. But definitely it will be memorable and it will be sad. It was a great stadium. It was, every seat in it was terrific.
Mary, I have no authority whatsoever, but I'm pretty sure you can take anything that you want from the stadium. So when you say, I don't know what I'm going to take, I think you can take anything you want.
I don't know. I'm going to take so many memories that are in my heart forever. And I'm just going to relish those and enjoy looking back and looking forward.
So many stories about this stadium lie ahead, but head coach Sean McDermott sums it up best.
You know, this has been a special place for a long time, and I believe the team, it's like the walls can talk, right? With the moments that have been experienced in this stadium. You know, when you're out in the community, I'm with my kids, we're out to dinner, we're out, you know, watching our kids play sports, and almost once a week it's, Coach, I was with my dad, or I was with my brother at this game years ago when we were growing up. We've had seasons since that time, and I mean, it runs deep.
While the walls may not talk, lucky for us, the seats, the press box, the locker room, and even the goalposts do. Those stories on the next episode.